dearest agent of the universe. I am hoping that by sharing my knowledge with you and the yoga journey that is unfolding in its entirety within me as we navigate through this beautiful relationship, that it has brought you closer to connecting to your true self. Our true self is not a personality or an individual self. It is an essence, a gaining of knowledge that words cannot describe, and the same for every single human irrespective of color, culture, religion, and class. Love, light, peace, and joy are the closest I can come to describing it, but I know you have felt it as well. The one practice that I feel most connected to my inner self is restorative yoga. I love it. Whoever thought doing nothing would be so beneficial to our health? Because of the society we have come to live in that awards productivity and slanders doing nothing, we constantly wear the sheriff's badge of stress. We only feel value if we are running around being stressed and constantly doing something. Too many of us feel guilty for just doing nothing, and yet it is nothing that will save us in today's world. In restorative yoga, we place you in poses with the use of props that completely relax your body. We fill the gaps between you and the earth so you feel little or no sensation in your body, and then we have a party. By we, I mean your immune system, your digestive system, well, basically, all your systems. They all sing and dance because there's no stress, no stimulation, no drama, nothing to pull it and all its cells away from their job. They literally engage in some serious disco as they begin to do their jobs that they were created to do. They begin to repair, heal, rejuvenate, and best of all, regenerate their cells, organs, bones. They fix you, hug you, revive you, so at the end of a class you feel so calm and yet energetic as well. It does not matter what age you are. By embracing the discipline of yoga, you can begin to reverse illnesses, diseases, turn off harmful genes, and regenerate your inner self for a healthier inner and outer self. It is why I so often say that yoga literally works from the inside out. It teaches your body to relax, thereby creating new memories, habits, and reactions to emotions, and stressors stored in your amygdala, our emotional storage unit. So the next time you are stressed, you seek relaxation and calmness instead of anger, anxiety, booze, and weed. It creates a safe space for you to observe your thoughts and emotions from a point of objectivity, as well as not feel powerless to do anything about them. When you have trauma sitting in you, it is the feelings of being unsafe and powerless that allow your traumas to block us from moving forward. A good restorative yoga class creates a safe space where you feel in control to observe your conditionings, your experiences, and your thoughts, so you can begin to dismantle them and release them. It helps move us to a place of awareness, a place where we can bring warmth and kindness to our logical reasoning. Restorative poses also allow for our nervous system to reset and bring our body back into homeostasis, which at the same time activates our body's healing system. Many of us are either living with our sympathetic system dominating, meaning we are always reacting to things and are constantly engaged in our senses, watching TV, on a phone, working, exercising, or with our parasympathetic system dominating, where we do nothing, where we sleep a lot, are unmotivated to do anything, and are lazy. In all forms of pure yoga, we seek to bring the two into balance. If you find you're continually stressed, always on the move, your emotions are going haywire, and you constantly feel you have no control over yourself, are sick, have a weakened immune and digestive system, then restorative yoga should be a part of your yoga practice. A good restorative teacher will guide you and your mind to surrender to your awareness instead of hanging on to your senses. They will ensure you feel safe and secure in your poses, thereby gaining the full benefits of yoga. In general, we tend to only engage in exercises and practices if they are going to lead to some beneficial alteration of our physical being. Six-pack, solid body, an ass you can bounce a coin off. We don't realize that a weakened internal self, in the long run, will reflect outwards in the form of aging, hair loss, dry skin, muscle loss, and no amount of pumping iron or step aerobics will prevent it or reverse it. Restorative yoga keeps our internal state healthy, and by internal, I mean the motherboard control centers that keep us alive and healthy. Our glands, our respiratory center located in our brainstem, and our autonomous nervous system are among some of them. One in particular has a dominating influence over the others, and that is our parasympathetic nervous system and its star player, the vagus nerve. The wandering 10th cranial nerve is the only cranial nerve to leave the brain and go for a walkabout through our body. Like a caterpillar, its arms and legs extend into every major organ in our body, acting as the informant that communicates between the organs and the brain. One of the most important of these being our gut, home to more immune cells than anywhere else in our body. To stimulate our vagus nerve is to activate our parasympathetic nervous system. As the vagus nerve runs down our throat, by beginning any practice with chanting a mantra will create a vibration that will stimulate the nerve. Om is particularly powerful as it creates a vibration in our belly, where we massage the vagus nerve through a long exhaled A, allowing our diaphragm to contract at length and squeezing the vagus nerve, that along with our esophagus run through our diaphragm, and releasing a substance, oxytocin, that's my guess, that slows our heartbeat down and reduces inflammation in the body. Om also initiates a vibration in our throat, the other place where we stimulate and massage our vagus nerve through the long M at the end of our Om. Oh yes, and it is not a mantra initiating you into a cult, but a series of sounds that create a vibration throughout your body. In fact, Om is so important it requires its own letter. By the way, gargling warm salt water after every teeth brushing also massages and stimulates our vagus nerve, as well as the added benefit of killing any bacteria hanging around at the back of your throat. What I'm trying to explain to you is really important, so I'm going to say the same thing but in a different way. Let's say your gut is not doing well because of bad eating habits and stress. On top of that, your vagus nerve is not healthy due to shallow breathing, stress, not being activated because you're constantly in your fight and flight system, and so forth. So no information is being passed from your gut to your brain, especially to your hypothalamus gland, which controls the release of several digestive and other hormones that are important for a healthy gut and immune system. As your gut further deteriorates, you begin to see an inflammation in the gut, which, if the vagus nerve is weak, allows that information to bypass the blood-brain barrier and use the weakened vagus nerve to enter the brain, causing inflammation there. The blood-brain barrier is the barrier that protects toxins circulating in our blood to enter our brain and our central nervous system. So you can start to see how important a healthy vagus nerve is to our survival. Forget about COVID. We are quite capable of killing ourselves the way we live our lives these days. In fact, for so many of us, COVID has highlighted how weak our immune systems really are these days. The problem, my fellow humans, is not the virus. The problem is us. The vagus nerve plays a multitude of other roles, such as creating new brain neurons, repairing brain tissue, and can even excite stem cells to create new cells. I know, that nerve is amazing. In fact, if I have to come back as a body part, I'm coming back as the vagus nerve. But for now, the last role of the vagus nerve we will focus on here is its role with the heart. Now stay with me, because I'm going to try and simplify this. Remember our brainstem, our animal brain, where our autonomic nervous systems reside? The ones we can have influence but no control over, just like our destiny? Well, two of the autonomic systems that carry on whether we are consciously present or not is our respiratory system, which sits in our brainstem, and our heart function. Now follow me into a visualization. Imagine your respiratory system is housed in a magical temple in your brainstem, where loads of happy breathing tiny gurus are sitting around a table getting high on oxygen. In the same large room, imagine a long, beautiful, two-legged yellow caterpillar. This is our vagus nerve. Now visualize one of its legs, the left one, extending out of the temple, which is in our brainstem, directly to the heart where it attaches to the SA node, which sits on the top part of the heart, the atrium. And its right leg extending out and connecting to the AV node on the heart, which controls the expansion and the contraction of the ventricles, the lower part of the heart. The SA node is responsible for setting the rhythm of the heart, the pacemaker. When triggered, it contracts the top part of your heart, the atrium. At the same time, it sends an electrical signal to the AV node to expand and then contract the ventricles, the right one, which is responsible for sending blood to our lungs, and the left to the rest of our body. Also in the temple is a bright blue snake, connected to our sympathetic nervous system, which slithers out of the temple and runs down our spine to where it offshoots into a gang of smaller fiber snakes that run to the SA node, the top part, on the heart. In addition to the stone gurus in the temple and the brainstem, the caterpillars and the snake, they are the friends of the gurus, Sufis, that sit in other parts of the body. For example, in the bloodstream, they are known as chemoreceptors that monitor oxygen and carbon dioxide levels in the blood. In the lung, the Sufis are known as mechanoreceptors, which monitors the stretch in the lung muscles, as believe it or not, there is such a thing as stretching the lung muscles too much. There are other Sufis that loiter in the hypothalamus, monitoring hormonal changes due to stress, and still others in our frontal cortex where we seek to consciously control our breath and therefore heart rate. These Sufis are in constant communication with the gurus, sending them messages on the state of the aforementioned systems, which the gurus then use to determine our heart rate and rhythm, or to tell the heart to just stop. You see, the gurus are a peaceful sort, and at some point, if they can't keep up with the overload of negative information that the Sufis keep sending them, they will seek peace and balance and just stop the heart. But let's face it, in death, we come back into balance with the universe in our mind, thankfully. And our mind, thankfully, just stops, and our consciousness lives on. When we practice restorative yoga, we slow our breath down, so there's an optimal exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. As our breath slows down, so do our thoughts, sending a signal to our hypothalamus that all is good, there is no stress, and therefore no need to increase cortisol levels or dump harmful chemicals in us. Our body calms down and enters a safe and secure zone, so no extra blood needs to be pumped to our extremities. The Sufis signal the gurus that all is calm, who in turn signal the yellow parasympathetic caterpillar to slow the heart down by slowing the electrical pulses in the SA and AV nodes, while putting the blue sympathetic snake on a leash and asking our body to basically move out of the fast-paced sympathetic flamingo dance into a rhythmic, calm, slow parasympathetic dance. And while the heart slow dances with the rest of our systems, the rest of our systems kick into disco as they start to heal wounds, kill cells plagued by diseases, regenerate dying cells, open blocked energy centers, and bring us to a place of awareness as we retreat from the external world and enter our internal world. It is magic at its best. If we can truly teach our body to move into this state right after a stressful event, or even before a stressful event, then you are already freeing yourself from antibiotics, vaccines, illness, and disease. A body that is in homeostasis will bounce back after a stressful event instead of continuing to sit in stress. But how do we know how well we are doing, especially if your connection to yourself is somewhat dodgy? Well, there is a gadget. Yep, a gadget. I'm not a gadget person. I only got a smartphone 2 years ago, and I still don't know how to use it efficiently. There is a ring you can buy that monitors your heart rate variability, HRV. I know you may be thinking, what the jumping toad is an HRV? HRV is the space between heartbeats. The shorter the time between heartbeats means that your body is sitting in your sympathetic fight or flight flamingo dance system. As the space lengthens between heartbeats, it means that your body is moving back into balance, and your parasympathetic slow dance system is active and healthy, and not buried so far under stress that it barely operates. There are two things you want to track. One is how long after you have been in a stressful event does the space between your heartbeats get longer? So basically the recovery rate of your body from imbalance to balance. The other is to check your HRV when you are feeling fine and calm. Because if in this state your HRV is still low, the space between your heartbeats short, it is an indication that there's something going on inside of you that should not be going on. It's like having a straight guy at a disco purely for gays. Not easy to spot, blends in okay, so you think all is normal, but definitely he should not be there. I don't have such a gadget, because I personally feel gadgets create a false sense of connection to our bodies, and prevents us from actually connecting to our bodies. I can feel when something's wrong because I now have become a master observing my body and listening to it when it talks to me. I also engage in restorative and yin yoga weekly, as if I'm going to do nothing, I might as well do it in a pose that benefits me and keeps me feeling vibrant, young, sexy without any additives at all. But if you feel you need a gadget because you are still a stranger to yourself, then I recommend you use it for a short period of time to observe how you feel when your HRV is high and when it is low. This way, you will start to know and hear your body, so in time you can put the gadget back in the box and just listen to your body instead. Everything we need to heal ourselves, to be a healthy, sane human, not afflicted by disease, mental illness, depression, exists within us. In fact, we have an entire pharmacy inside of us. Most of those drugs you buy to make you feel better or get you high, we can produce in ourselves, even ayahuasca. And yet, we continue to search outside of us for solutions and fast fixes. I can tell you now, there are no fast fixes. I am always surprised how hard we work for cars, homes, clothes, security. But when asked to do that same work on ourselves, we do nothing. To eat well, come to our mats, meditate. We opt out, claiming we just don't have the time. We just keep riding that blue snake until one day we drop dead from something that was actually preventable had we done the work. Seriously, what is wrong with humans? I can't even tell you how many times I've heard that statement. That is just the way I am. You may be that way at this moment in time, and it is good to accept and acknowledge that. But it is not who you are. It is who your mind is choosing to be at that moment. I must go now. I've just received a series of WhatsApp from you that has thrown me off my mat and left me feeling like I just ran into a massive sequoia tree. So big I can't see the whole thing. It seems timely that this text has arrived just before I leave to go camp on a tiny outrock in the middle of the ocean, with some amazing friends to call our birds all night, under a blanket of billions of stars in the Milky Way, because it will help me put all this into perspective and deal with it from my soul and not from my mind that just keeps trying to sabotage me. I love you, even though you just kicked me off my mat. I hope that it is okay that I continue to send you these yogic letters, because they do not require or demand a reply, merely an open mind and heart. However, if they fall within the terms and conditions of the blockade you have just imposed on me, asking that we stop all communication until the case you are on is resolved, then please reply to this email telling me to do so, and I shall cease and desist these letters as well, with happiness and understanding. Love, the Enchanted Yogi.